If you've been following politics in coastal Georgia, tonight is a conversation you won't want to miss. Big issues, local voices, and real conversation. That's what the Market Sip's all about. Tonight, we are going to kick off with our local spotlight, Brian Tedder with Fishin', no G, Control, before sitting down with Pat Wilver to discuss some of the biggest issues facing coastal Georgia today. At the Market Sip, we're not here to tell you what to think. Hell, we barely know what to think sometimes. We're here to bring you the conversations to help you make those decisions for yourself. So grab your favorite drink, join us in a little live chat, and let's get into it.
Welcome back to this episode of the Market Sip. My name is Patrick Donovan from eXp Realty, part of the Johnson Group, and I'm here with my partner, Brandon Giebler from Next Move Real Estate, and I'm super excited for you guys to be here today. I really appreciate it. We got Pat Wilver, former candidate for District 1. I'm super excited to have him on the show, and if you guys like this kind of content, please like, share, subscribe, share this with your family and friends if they're into the same kind of thing you are, just they want to keep up to date on what's going on in the politics, but also if you're looking to buy or sell a home, me and Brandon got your back. All you got to do is hit them codes right down below us. Hit the QR codes if you want to talk about home values. You're curious about how to position your home. If you're looking, what kind of market are we in right now? We'll say buyer's market. But if you're curious about any of those things, hit them codes. All right. So, Brandon, I'm really excited about this next guest we got coming on. Can you tell everybody who we got coming on?
Yeah, I mean, I was really excited too. We have Brian Tedder with Fishin', not fishing, Fishin' Control. And I don't know if you know this, but my grandparents were avid bass fishers, and my grandma started the first all-women's bass fishing league in Charleston. And Now I have their boat. So if anyone knows how to help with a boat, that'd be cool, friends. So let's go ahead and bring on Brian Tedder.
All right, before we bring on Brian, I just want to show you a little snip from his YouTube channel, Fishin' Control. Here we go.
Oh, my mom made it. Hey, girl.
There's definitely something on this now. Bunch of slack. What have we got here? Better bluefish. Let's see if.
Very nice. So let's bring on Brian. Hey, Brian, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on. Great clip.
Thank you. Well, before he's about to start the clock, start the clock. All right, Brian, tell us about yourself and what is Fishin' Control all about?
All right. Well, starting from the beginning, back in 2019, when we were still living up in Ackworth, Georgia, up in the mountains area, I started this channel, and it was really just trying to be a creative outlet for all of my love of fishing and my journey through trying different kinds of fishing. Up there, it was obviously more bass and freshwater related, but I've always been a big fan of saltwater fishing, coming down to the beach to surf fish growing up in like the Edisto area and Savannah area, Tybee and all that. So as you may know, through making a channel, people kind of guide what you make. They like certain things more, dislike certain things, ask questions about things, and it kind of molds what you make through your channel. So I was definitely getting more interest in the saltwater. So that's kind of how it went. And so we started our move down here. In 2020, we moved down here to the area, and it's basically been a saltwater channel since then. Few freshwater trips here and there, but and then through more people's questions, it became more of an educational channel. A little bit about my background. I don't like to get too much into it, but I almost became a science teacher way back in the day. So the joy you get out of sharing knowledge with people, I found that through the channel. So I started tapping that. and sharing more tips and tricks and how to do it right, follow regulations and things like that. And then all of a sudden, people started asking me to take them fishing. So it started kind of becoming that kind of business where now I'm guiding people on the beach. And really, like, the whole purpose of those guide packages is that in about a 4-hour trip with me on the beach, you can learn what you need to do it yourself and have the confidence to approach this. The whole point behind the thing is that surf fishing is a really fun and easy way to fish. It's very approachable, and the channel, like, I want everyone to feel like it's approachable to them, no matter what your income level, your physical ability. You know, like, even at Tybee, they've got handicap accessible carts. We can get anybody out there to have a good time and reel in some fish, basically. So that's it.
So for someone who hasn't really been fishing around the Savannah area, and of course we don't want you to give up your spot because no fisherman likes to do that. Where do you like to fish? Where would you point someone to go fish that wants to fish here, that doesn't know where to go?
Probably the easiest ways, like I was saying, my favorite thing is the beach. Probably the easiest thing to approach is fishing on the beach, because it really only takes a minimal amount of tackle. They even, down here, they even sell tackle kits at Walmart. You can go get like the Shakespeare kit. I totally have 2 of those. I've changed out the reels at this point and stuff like that, but you can totally catch fish with that cheap $25 surf fishing kit from Walmart. And just a couple other things, and some fresh shrimp, and get out there, and you can just you almost can't not catch fish off the beach. But
what are you catching out there?
The primary species is whiting. There's a lot of gaff-top sail cats, which is kind of a bycatch, and stingrays and stuff like that, which, if you're careful with them, they're pretty cool to catch and fun. The catfish and stingrays pull pretty hard. And then every now and then you're lucky enough to get some pompano, some bluefish, maybe a big redfish, some speckled trout, flounder. There's all kinds of great, and that's the beauty of it, is the beach can be anything, and they all eat shrimp. So
there you go. All right. So what has been your most unforgettable catch, or the one that almost got away?
I've had a couple really interesting gotaways where, like, I could see it and it broke the line within visual range, which was some pretty big sharks on some pretty light tackle. That's always exciting. But probably my most favoritist unforgettable catch is my personal best redfish. I caught a 42-inch redfish off Tybee Island, and within visual range of the pier, so in the pier area, but off the beach. So that's a pretty big one for off the beach here. That's about as big as we tend to get them now. They say they used to get them in the 52-inch range, and I don't know if I believe it.
So what's your favorite fish to catch?
It would probably, around here, it would probably be a redfish. When I can find slot redfish that I can grill. That is the other main focus of the channel, is like, we don't really catch just for the heck of catching. We're trying to catch food. I want to bring home food to eat. And my favorite thing is when I can catch my own bait, catch the fish with the bait I caught, and then turn that into a meal. So it's like a whole food chain challenge kind of thing. That's very rewarding.
Resourceful, very resourceful.
Yeah.
Is there anything we didn't ask you that you wanted to tell everybody?
Number one is to make sure you get a fishing license before you go fishing. Make sure that you're protecting yourself in that regard, because nobody wants to get a ticket. Number two is make sure you're catching and keeping within regulations. There's a really easy to use website called eRegulations. You can go on there. If you just Google fin fish keepers in Georgia, it'll bring up that website, and it stays up to date. We just had July 1st, which, lots of new laws go into effect July 1st around here. So make sure you're keeping up to date on the regulations, fishing responsibly. That's basically it.
Well, Brian, I want to say thank you so much for coming on our show and talking about what you do. If you guys want to catch Brian fishing control, it's in the description down below. Hit his channel, and if you want to get a hold of him, just DM him in the channel or connect with him. All right, Brian, well, I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay,
awesome. Thank you.
My
Lucky you.
mom's favorite guest. My mom, my,
That's your mom's favorite guest so far?
yeah, we are an avid fisher kind of family, so it's a thing. We like fishing.
You want to catch up with the chat before we get into the Pat Wilver?
That'd be great. So Jennifer said, "Good evening, guys. I'm on time." Thank you, girl. We love that when you're on time. Joshua said hello. See, Mom already said yes. Love that for everyone. Hey, y'all is here. Hey, girl. Hey, she grew up near Ackworth, which now she's in Savannah. Jennifer was
We got some lagging.
It was her. It was her. It wasn't us. Cody said,
Cody.
"Hey, uh,
Hey, Dad. What's up? Thank you for joining."
oh yeah." I forget that's your dad. I'm like, how are you commenting right now? Jennifer said, love her some fishing, but she hasn't been since moving to Alaska. And Mom asked the same thing, or said the same thing. You're catching little sharks and people are still swimming. I told him to cast it in order to get the swimmers. With the sharks. Love seeing some fishing control. Mom loves fishing. Thanks for having me, y'all.
All right. Great.
Love
Great. Thank you,
Thanks.
Brian, for coming on. I appreciate it. And thank you all for coming and joining the show. I appreciate it. So without further ado, let's bring on Pat Wilver. Hey, what's up,
Hey,
Pat?
what's going on,
How
guys?
you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Sorry, the crowd is late on this one. I don't know what's going on. We got to coach them better.
I don't worry about that. I'm just here to yap with y'all.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. I mean,
Yeah.
how's it been? So what have you been up to since you are not running anymore? What have you been up to?
Right. Well, I've done a little relaxing. I've done a little getting caught up on my personal life. Got to make money every once in a while. So, attending to those sort of things that have fallen by the wayside. Spending some time in the mountains and visiting my folks. Things like
Cool.
that. Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah. Touching
Lucky.
grass a little bit, if you will.
Got to get that nature in, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Summer
cool.
touching and summer.
Well, we're going to be talking about several different things, about fraud election, about data centers, about the current election that's going to be coming up with the Senate race, governor, and for, of course, the race you were a part of with Amanda. So we're going to be covering all that, so you don't want to miss it. If you guys got any questions for Pat, or you want to just say, comments, so put it in the chat, please. All right. So first, we're going to talk about election fraud, and this is where Trump had his the president had his speech on last Thursday. So here we go.
The American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard.
So reportedly, Trump is about to declare Georgia's two senators illegitimate based on an FBI raid that seized ballots from an election neither of them won. Let me walk you through the chain of stupid here. Ossoff and Warnock were elected in the January 2021 runoff. The FBI warrant was for the November 2020 general election. Nobody won a Senate seat in November. That's literally why there was a runoff. So they seized ballots from the wrong election to try and nullify a different election those ballots don't even cover. And here's the kicker. Warnock got reelected in 2022 in yet another separate election. So what exactly are we nullifying? And now the fraud claims themselves because Epstein's BFF keeps recycling the same lies over and over, hoping no one's going to notice. In 2020, Georgia's governor was Republican. The Secretary of State was Republican. And the election board was Republican. So the theory is that Republicans rigged their own election against themselves and covered it up for 6 years. Sure. Georgia counted those votes 3 times, including a full hand count of every paper ballot, and got the same result every time. Trump filed over 60 lawsuits and lost basically all of them, even in front of judges he appointed. Some of his own lawyers admitted making of the Georgia conspiracy and got criminally charged for it. Oh, and remember that 2000 Mules movie? The publisher ended up pulling it, apologized, and settled a defamation suit because it was fiction. Because remember, in court you need actual evidence. True the Vote, the group behind it, stood in front of an actual judge in Georgia and admitted they had no evidence. Their word, nothing. And the FBI's own affidavit for this raid recycled claims state investigators already debunked years ago. Even Brad Raffensperger, the Republican who ran the election, called it baseless and repackaged. So the chain of stupid is complete. Wrong ballots, wrong election, debunked claims, and a senator who's been reelected since. 6 years of looking, and they still can't find the fraud. But they sure found the tantrum.
All right, Pat. So the president says America's election system falls catastrophically short and is dangerously exposed to interference. Do you view this as a legitimate warning about cybersecurity or as an effort to convince voters before the midterms that any result that he dislikes cannot be trusted?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to sow doubt in the election system. You know, the Republicans control a lot of the government, and including the whole government here in Georgia. And you know, the most recent election that we had, actually, Brad Raffensperger did an audit. They looked at all the ballots. I've got the numbers in front of me. It was over 1 million ballots, 1,111,856 ballots. They found 23 discrepancies in all those ballots. 23. And
what's the percentage on that?
That is a 99.93% accuracy on the hand-marked paper ballots. All 23, by the way, discrepancies were on hand-marked paper ballots. And that is what the Republicans in Georgia are now pushing to move towards, is hand-marked paper ballots. So why, you know, if it's been proven that that is the most prone to error, why do we want to move to that? So, you know, there's no proof there in any of these claims, but there doesn't need to be proof. He's just trying to sow doubt and uncertainty and really make people lose more faith in their institutions than they've already lost.
It's just a dangerous precedent, I think, when you're, you know, just saying that the elections aren't valid just because you didn't win or just because you wanted for points. Because, I mean, people already have a hard time going out to vote. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And like, if you're just it's just going to drive voters. I don't think the Democratic side is probably not going to. They're probably showing out. Because I don't know if you saw the one in Texas where they did the primary, but they had 2 Republicans running and 90 people showed up for the primary out of 36,000 Republicans.
Yeah,
90.
They should create a voting app. You can vote on your phone.
There you go.
Well, you know, the thing is, there's so many fail safes in our election system. First of all, there's not like one national election system, right? Like, really, states administer their elections, and the counties have a lot of control. So for a foreign actor to just come in and say they're going to hack the elections, like, they would have to hack all these specific municipalities, right? And these systems themselves, most of them, they're air gapped, right? So you can't just go through the internet and attack these. And our intelligence community under both administrations have looked into these claims and found that there was no proof that these governments actually did interfere. Now, some of the specific claims, he made a claim during that speech that China had accessed 220 million voter records. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, well, what they did is they paid for commercially available voter data that anybody can buy. Like, I bought some of this own data for my campaign, right? This is all out there. Perhaps the American people would be really upset to find out how much of their data is available for purchase online, and it's totally legal. That, my friends, I think should be the bigger story there. But that's not one that they want to talk about right now.
Well, tell us
about what? All the data? I mean, it's no, I mean,
I mean, think about Zillow and Realtor.com.
It's pretty shocking. Yeah, I mean,
everything.
If you guys have ever run a digital ad campaign, I mean, you probably know how targeted you can get with those things. So that's the kind of information that China was buying. But what China did do is they did not, you know, there's a difference between interfering in an election and influencing an election, right? And what China was doing was influencing an election in much the same way that a super PAC will influence an election. Okay, so this is where the conversation really should be, is how prone are our elections to influencing, right? And how much money can be spent to influence the outcome of elections. I'm thinking right now of Thomas Massey's primary. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yeah, $30 million.
It was actually 37 million, I think. 37 million. It was the most expensive primary in history. $37 million. And this is a guy, mind you, that like 99% of the time voted with Trump. The only thing he didn't vote with Trump on was the Epstein files, which I could see why that upset him.
Weird.
The Epstein files, they had some fights over Israel, and they had some fights over the budget because Massey's a big, national debt guy. Those are the only things, and they spent tens of millions of dollars to get rid of that guy. And some of the big money that came in behind, getting him out of office was like Miriam Adelson, who is a dual citizen of Israel and who's a big backer of Israel. And, Thomas Massey, obviously not a fan of giving all that money away to Israel. But then also there's a fella, what's his name? Singer, I believe. I got this all collected here. This guy Singer, he's a real piece of shit. He buys sovereign debt and basically bankrupts. Yeah, Paul Singer runs what's called a vulture fund. And he poured a vulture fund. Yeah. So for example, he bought Argentinian sovereign debt a while ago, and he refused to renegotiate any of this debt, or basically ended up repossessing one of their naval vessels through this. So this is like the kind of guy he is. He once brought Sam Alito on an undisclosed fishing trip in Alaska, and then Samuel Alito, the Supreme Court justice, later on didn't recuse himself from a case, voted in favor. This is the kind of influence these people buy. But he put $3 million into Massey's race against Massey, right? So this is influence, okay? And this is happening right now. So when the president gets on air and says that there are elections being stolen, well, he's not exactly wrong in that regard, because there are elections being stolen, but not the way that he describes it. And if he really cared about securing our elections, then he would want to get money out of politics. And this is a position that the Democratic Party itself is championing. Every Democratic candidate that you talk to will say that they support not quite every single Democratic candidate. It's the official policy, though, of the Democratic Party that they support getting rid of this Citizens United decision so that we can no longer have unlimited money in our politics.
Facts. Facts. Good. Yeah. I'm going to jump over to the chats real quick. We got to catch up over here. There's been a lot. Jennifer says, that guy was fun. She likes the Fisher guy. And then she said, good to see you again, Pat. And then some bot on here called Savannah Nooks and Crannies was like, you too.
I think she meant the other Pat, not me. Now I'm offended.
Right. Yeah.
Fine, Jennifer, whatever.
Joshua said we got to go fish on that boat. I hope you run again. We need more forward-thinking people. Just talking about you, Pat Wilver, not you, Patrick Donovan.
Thank you.
Jesus, you muppet. The elections are secure. Yikes.
Is that against me?
No, she's talking about Trump.
All right. I was going to say, you didn't listen to the rest of the argument.
Have y'all started talking about that jerk Kemp and all his sellouts? Our land, water, etc. Mom said, oh, Lordy. Y'all are stressing her out.
Oh, no.
So we just got started. Jennifer put FAFO. Mess with our guys, Ossoff and Warnock. You're going to get the boot in a bad place.
Whoa.
Yeah.
She's cracking necks and putting boots in bad places all over the place.
If she wasn't on the internet, you'd hear worse. If there is one discrepancy, it's still a discrepancy. Facts are facts. That's an understatement. They are all bad.
That's where she clarified it was for Trump, not you, Pat.
Yeah. Ivy said yes. And then Jennifer said he proved the other day that Putin and Russia helped him while in office to win. Totally backfired everything that this diaper baby says has been done to him. Damn it, Jennifer. Social media has the power to influence like we've never seen before.
Oh, yeah. And they're just buying bots to just go on there and just.
I mean, we didn't even get into social media, which we could. But I mean.
Well, yeah, you can. Go ahead. What's up?
My God.
What's your feeling?
Mean, it's just so easy. And people don't realize, I saw there was a talk Jack Dorsey gave. You know, he was the founder of Twitter before he sold it to Elon. And, Dorsey said the argument we shouldn't be talking about free speech. We should be talking about free will. And the argument he made is basically that, like, the influencing that's going on is at a very deep psychological level and the way that these algorithms are constructed, it's very easy to just show people exactly what you want to show them. And Elon Musk even said a couple years ago that they don't need to censor anybody on Twitter. They just need to limit their reach. Right. And I really do believe that. I really do believe that happens. And I, I even put some content out myself, last week where I know that I've been kind of shadow banned on TikTok. There's no doubt in my mind that I don't even post there anymore. But I would post the same exact thing on Instagram versus TikTok multiple times on Instagram, multiple 100,000 views on TikTok, nothing. And multiple videos of mine deleted from TikTok for reasons that were just, like I posted one on basically the Jim Crow laws and how, they've kind of been revived in certain ways. And it was just straight up deleted. It said, you've been giving false information out. We're going to delete this video. And there was like, there's no protesting it or anything. So, that happens. And that's a scary thing, I think. And we talked about China buying that voter data, right? And Trump tried to make it sound like they had hacked systems to get that. They didn't hack any systems. They just bought data that anybody can get. And the amount of data that anybody can go buy, you or I can go buy it right now. And most people use it to make targeted ad campaigns, right? Which is something that, you may have done in your real estate careers, right? You can get really super granular. I mean, you can even serve ads. This is how crazy it is. I can serve ads. Let's say I'm running a campaign and I find out one of my competitors is having a campaign event, right? I can put what's called a geofence around that event. And anybody who goes to that event, I will know who was there and I can serve them ads for my campaign.
Wow.
Right? That's something you can do right now and it's legal.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes. Okay. So there is, we talk about the elections being secure. I believe they are secure in that if you go and cast a ballot, I believe that vote is going to be accurately reflected 99.999% of the time. Right. And I believe that, 99.99% of the time, the people who are voting are who they say they are. Right. And there's no fraud going on in that regard. But if we want to talk about them, are they secure in that? Are people being influenced, right? Are the elections being stolen that way? I think.
Well, here's the thing.
Because I believe that people are very persuadable.
They are, but you got to we can't take away their agency there, Pat. You know what I'm saying? They gotta go to the polls and click the thing. They got to do the research.
No, they've got it. Yeah, but
or download the app and vote on the app.
Or come to our show and talk to the candidates yourself and make an informed decision.
I know that it's it's not hard to influence vast swaths of the population. I mean, you look at Massey's race, and you look at the older voters broke pretty heavily for the competitor, Ed Galrain, and younger voters broke decisively for Massey. I mean, the split was massive. It's just that younger voters don't fucking vote, right? But these older voters are who is watching the cable news, and that's where all the ads are running, right? That's where this is an exact, just to show you how persuadable. If people were not persuadable, then people would not be spending billions and billions of dollars to influence elections, right? And if people were not persuadable, then we would not spend billions on advertising in general, right? It wouldn't cost $1 million for a 30-second Super Bowl commercial. So
right.
I mean, and that's for real. And just to talk about money in elections. So we were talking about Citizens United, I think earlier, and this is the Supreme Court ruling that said that you're allowed to put as much money into politics as you want. In 2008, this was 2 years before Citizens United, there was 144 million in outside spending and basically in PAC spending in that election cycle in 2008, that presidential election. By 2024, it was 4.2 billion. Right. So it had grown 28x. Right. I mean, that's a crazy amount of outside spending. Right. And that election cycle in 2024 was 16 billion total. 100 donors, just 100 donors contributed $2.6 billion in 2024. Okay. 100, that's 100 people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is this is the real threat to democracy. And if we were serious about securing our elections, we would make it illegal for people to buy a vote. And it should be illegal. You know, in my race, you know, I pledged no PAC, no corporate PAC money, none of that. I was limited to $3,500. That's how much an individual could donate to my campaign, right? How come these billionaires can donate hundreds of millions? Like Elon Musk spent $400 million in the 2024 election, right? I mean, it is absurd. So, like, this is what the conversation needs to be.
I agree with you. 1,000%.
Yeah.
You want to get these chats?
Did you know of the 538 people on the Hill, 505 have taken APAC money of some kind?
Oh, well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, you know, talking to a lot of the advice, like, if you want to look at comments, I mean, just tell me to shut up. But, you know, a lot of the advice I got, I talked to strategists shortly after I launched, because the strategists, you know, hit you up and they want you to, you know, pay money for their services. And the strategist was like, how much time are you spending on call time? And call time is talking to donors, right? And I was like, yeah, I don't really, I was like, I know I should do that. I don't really do that. You know, I'd rather talk to people. And they're like, you need to be spending 5 hours every day on call time. 5 hours every day.
They don't answer your text messages. They don't answer your emails. They don't.
Well, I mean, you know, that's basically cold calling donors. 5 hours a day, right, is what the recommendation was. And they say if you want to run a serious U.S. House campaign, you need to raise at least $1 million, right? I mean, that's you know, that's the world we live in right now. It's not really, you can't call it a democracy, right? I mean, it's the dollar that runs.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. You want to talk about money and politics and where all the money comes from? We're about to talk about that next. So, the next question we're gonna be this next one. So, if you didn't know, we were fighting data centers in Port Wentworth. A couple of our citizens decided to speak. Jenny Hines, she had a great speech about how children are sleeping with the noise, then trying to learn with the noise, and then trying to sleep with the noise. Like and the cycle is just bad, right? But then we had Adam Adelaide. He came on and he spoke to the council, and then the city manager responded to him. So let's play that real quick. Here we go.
December 18th, well over 30 residents plus packed this room to tell you where they stood on data centers. Since then, more residents have spoken, more than 500 residents have signed a petition, and people continue to ask you to take action. So my question is this: who is listening to the residents? We're practically screaming at you to pause and study this issue before allowing something that can permanently change our city. The same approach you've already taken with many other issues. A data center is not another gas station, warehouse, liquor store, subdivision. It has the potential to reshape all of Port Wentworth and even neighboring communities for decades to come. We're not asking you to approve or deny a project. We're simply asking you to take the same opportunity you've already given other issues, a moratorium that allows us to take time to study the impacts, strengthen our ordinances, and make sure any future decisions truly reflect the long-term vision of Port Wentworth. So I'll end where I begin. What do the citizens have to do for you to listen? We've shown up, we've spoken, more than 500 residents have signed a petition. We're asking you for the same pause you've granted other projects. What more do we have to do? Thank you.
Here's the response of the city manager.
Mr. Alday talked about a bunch of moratoriums. You know, again, I think a lot of what he was discussing was a political thing, more directed at you guys. But I can tell you that the ordinance that we passed in December is very strong. It has a lot of protections in it. It might not have everything that Mr. Alday or some others might want, but there is substantial protections for the community in there. And the limitations made it very clear on the targeted area that this is looking at. That would be, as Ms. Hines said, over a mile. Over a mile.
It's not over a mile.
A home or a school. So it's just, you know, it is what it is, but, you know, it's, again, mostly a political decision on the moratorium.
So, Pat, the city manager said the data center moratorium could not move forward because of a political decisions. Listening to that statement, I was left wondering whether he was dismissing the residents speaking out as a politically motivated, or do you think that is what he meant? And if so, is it fair to criticize homeowners concerned about water, power, noise, property values, and quality of life as political as theater instead of legitimate public concerns.
Yeah, I think listening to that, I think the city manager, and I guess it's important to know if you don't know what a city manager does. The city manager is a non-elected position, and they are appointed by the city council to basically run the day-to-day affairs of the city. So you kind of picture the city manager as like the CEO of a corporation, and the city council is like the board of directors, right? And I think what he may have meant, maybe, I think he could have maybe chosen his language better. I think what he maybe meant is like, this is political, and that it's not really my job to address a question of a political nature. That's for the city council to discuss. I think that might be what he meant by that.
It's not political.
Well, I mean, it is. Well, everything's politics. I mean, everything is politics at the end of the day. And it is, I know a lot of people think that that's such a dirty word. Like, this isn't political. This is my life, right? Well, your life is political. I mean, really all these questions are political questions. And I think this is why it's important for us to, hey, let people know that these things that you're upset about, and you're rightfully upset about, right? I'm not trying to say that you're not right to be upset by these things, but these are all political in nature. And this is why we need to pay attention to what our politicians are doing. And so many people don't pay attention, unfortunately, till it's too late, right? Like, a lot of people won't pay attention until they've already got the approval in for the data center. And then they're like, shit, how do we stop this? Well, it's too late now. It's too late now. You should have been paying attention 2 years ago, when, these processes, these zoning processes, they take years to play out, right? And if you know how the timeline that the developers work on, I'll use the example of Tom Triplett Park, because that's kind of like big in everyone's mind right now, those warehouses that are going in around Tom Triplett. Well, they did a rezoning a couple years ago, where they zoned that land. I don't want to be misquoted here. I believe they rezoned it industrial, whatever they rezoned it to. It allows the warehouse use by right. Okay. And when they did that rezoning, they, like, unfortunately kind of set something in motion that's going to be hard for them to undo. But people don't, people weren't really, they didn't have that on their radar. Even though I'm sure that's exactly what the developers intended all along, was to do the warehouses there, right? So when it comes to data centers, I think you guys are right to be pushing for a data center moratorium now in Port Wentworth, because these developers work on long-term time horizons. They're planning 5-10 years out, and you've got to stop this rezoning happening now. Now, I think the political question that maybe he was referring to is, I don't know what conversations might be going on in the back rooms. I had heard, that maybe the city council, and I'm speculating here, so I don't want to be, quoted. I don't have any read on what's going on in the city council. But maybe that they want to have this be an election year issue for them, so that they can pass a moratorium and say, look what we did for you guys. I've heard that. I don't know if that's the case, but there's so many.
I hope they do.
I hope. Yeah, I hope they.
I hope so.
I mean,
that'd be great with me. I don't care.
Yeah, because it certainly seems like that's what most people want to get done.
Yeah.
And now you said that it doesn't prevent a data center within a mile of a school, or so. I'm
saying. So his comment was that where they proposed the data center was a mile away. It is not.
Okay, it's not. Okay, got it.
That's not far enough.
Yeah, I thought he was saying that the ordinance did not permit a data center within a mile.
No, well, there's the noise thing that he was talking about when Jenny Hines brought it up, and you say, oh, you can't. It's a 500-foot buffer. The problem is once they come and they set up and they build everything and they start running, they don't give a shit about your buffer.
Yeah,
they're just gonna blow right through it.
Yep.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. Is like,
yep.
if they come, then we at that point now we are powerless.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because these guys make way too much money to be, So I that's kind of what I was telling.
I think you guys should push hard for the moratorium. I think that's essential, because there's going to be nothing left. I mean, we can. And I think we should talk about warehouses in the port at some point if you have some time. But
we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to catch up in the comments real quick?
Yeah,
Donovan?
yeah. If you don't mind, sorry.
Yeah.
Pat.
Yeah. No. I'd love to.
I'm just
Both
kidding.
Pats.
So okay, B9Z. Okay, y'all. Our city manager in Port Wentworth can kick rocks and stick his idiotic opinion where the sun don't shine. Agreed. Jennifer agrees. They should all be in jail. Yes, that's what jerk meant. What is wrong with you guys? They are feeding everything to a machine that humans need to survive. It makes
Exactly.
absolutely no sense. You just need to know that money is involved. It shouldn't be political, though. It needs to be life over profit. Life
Yep.
over profit.
Yep.
No,
100%.
not profit over life. This is why Effingham County right now, we are mad about them getting talked to data centers right now because this is the moment we can stop it.
I'm going to tell you right now, guys, there was 5 locations. One was in Port Wentworth and 4 were in Effingham. So if you guys aren't all over this, I'm telling you right now, and I told Scott Hoffman when he was on there, I hope somebody's out there fighting for it and talking to the city.
You said 5 proposed in Effingham?
There was 5 locations. One was Port Wentworth. 4 of them were Effingham.
And they're actually proposed right now?
Yeah, they were hunting. So
Okay.
they were picking their sites. So is it this one? Is it Port Wentworth because they're jazzier? Is it this part because, they have access to, I don't know the reasons. I'm just saying, Ivy, like you guys probably should ramp it up a little bit.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't consider like Effingham jazzier, but okay. But Jennifer also followed up with this. So they have meetings. I found out 30 minutes before I need to be at the hall. It's annoying, very much done on purpose. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. That's the argument the Nashville Zoo is making regarding
exactly. Because they're not going to care once they come and they drive the animals crazy. And then gorillas are breaking out of cage and killing children.
But I just watched The Water Boy, so he's like with that gorilla that left right. Yes, I'm more concerned about Tom Triplett at the moment, but Nashville is important too. Yes, a moratorium and warehouses are all need to stop, and we have Erin Brockovich now fighting for all of us, but she won't come on
our show.
I comment on Theo Vaughn. I was like, I know he's like, but like we're fighting it too. I'm trying to give her a guilt trip. Hopefully she'll come. They were talking about another 1,500 built this year. Kick rocks for sure. Project Zero is what they're calling it and trying to.
Good luck.
Pitch it to the residents.
Pitch it. Okay. Pitch it. Okay.
Look.
Nice.
You've read some terrible handwriting. I get it. It's just the residents that won't
have property taxes. Yep.
Yes, they're doing this all over, and it's bad. It kills the land completely, and China has billions of people and only 500 data centers. It's because China is massive, and only like a quarter of it is like, taken up by people.
Well, I'm just saying, like if China, if that's who our competitor is, why do we have literally 20 times more than they do? Is that even, if you're 20 times ahead of somebody, Pat, are you in a race?
No,
there's a lot of different data centers, and the whole internet runs on data centers, right? I mean, pretty much anything you can find on the internet, it's on data centers. Your iCloud, it's on data. I mean, there's been data centers for a long time, but what the race now is to build data centers specifically for the use of AI, right?
Training AI,
and that's a these very energy intensive, very resource intensive, water intensive. I mean, it's really an exponential growth of the data centers. But I mean, this is there's a lot of reasons why I think that the people who run this country are so interested in having a lot of data centers. But I mean, it's hard not to put on a tinfoil hat sometimes, isn't it? And wonder,
God, I can't tell you. I've turned so like conspiracy theory in my older age. I get very upset.
It's hard because you look around. I mean, these flock cameras are everywhere, and the thing that really worries me about flock cameras as opposed to any surveillance system that existed in the past, right? They were not connected, right? Police department might have their own cameras, a university might have their own cameras, but they weren't part of a national database that can be searched and indexed, right? Well, with Flock, that's all gone, right? It's a national database, and they're also integrating Ring cameras from Amazon, right? And so all the literally millions and millions and millions of cameras all across the country, all able to be searched. Anybody can go in and you can search. There was, I read a story about a woman in Texas who allegedly went out of state to get an abortion. And the cops in Texas searched 50,000 different flock cameras. They just put in a query. They just type in, look, whoever the person is they're looking for, kind of describe them, and it'll search all these different cameras. And they were pulling feeds from all over the country. They were able to track where this woman went. I mean, it is dystopian shit.
And so you think that's why we have 4,400 data centers, and the closest one is 500?
An exceptional amount of computing power to be able to search all of those feeds, right? And that's what AI does. I mean, this is what, Palantir has these contracts with the Department of Defense. They have some incredibly, incredibly sophisticated models that do targeting, right? And decide basically who to kill, okay? That's what they do. And they integrate all these different data sources and help, people make decisions. I mean, this is the future that we're heading towards, right? You're not going to be able to fart without the government knowing about it. And at some point, I think it's going to be, and they've even talked about this. This isn't even just conjecture. This is AI executives, Palantir executives talking about how they're going to be able to predict when somebody's likely to commit a crime, which
Minority
makes
Report?
sense. Okay, yes, it's Minority Report. I mean, it's like, do we want this?
I'm not going to kill anybody.
Well, actually, hey, before we keep going there, Pat, we're about to go right back into this. So we're going to keep it rolling. So the United States has more than 4,400 data centers. The next closest country has a little over 500. It's 555. It's the United Kingdom. Yeah. China has fewer than 400. Georgia alone
USA. We're number one.
Georgia ranks 5th nationally and would be, if they were their own country, they would be ranked 10th or 11th in the world. Yet every time another community pushes back, we're told that we have to keep competing with China. Let's play this video real quick.
I love this.
The data center industry is having all these briefings for journalists now where they're like, please let us explain to you. And they say a bunch of talking points. One question that's really not been answered clearly, and maybe there isn't one, how many more do we need? When you talk to people in the AI world as well, a lot of them also think that we're going to be making more efficient models, or like China's actually already building more efficient models than we are. How much of this is also just sort of excessive expansion for different companies to kind of win these races, when could we just halt development?
How many more data centers we need? If someone could answer that, they would be the richest person in the world. No one knows. It's the great American AI experiment. Like, we are going to build these big campuses that will get us ahead of China, right? I'm oversimplifying. There's so much shuffling around. There's like data center contracts getting canceled and renewed, and power structures changes left and right. It's hard to tell how much more we're going to need. And I think people know that. Will we need data centers in 10 years? Will we still be building them at this clip? Tech companies would rather have much more efficient models, but we just don't know yet. Who's going to be holding the bag? Not even if the bubble bursts, if just like we don't need as many physical structures anymore.
We've like decimated this land. Now we have these abandoned buildings. There's environmental concerns with that. The data.
But is it a cute bag?
So what are we competing for at this point? I mean, are we trying to build the most data centers possible, regardless of what it does to our water supply, electric grid, land, communities? Where is the point where we finally say the cost outweighs the benefits, Pat?
Well, it's the costs and the benefits for whom, right? Because I think most of the costs are being borne by us, and most of the benefits are being sucked up by them.
All of the benefits.
And if you're a billionaire who your biggest cost might be labor costs, right? And wouldn't it be great to get rid of all those labor costs? Right now, these people have no foresight. Okay, so they're not thinking of what happens when nobody can have money to buy our products, right? I mean, this is, and I've talked about this in the past, we have an obsession with growth, right? And this is what this all comes down to, is that we believe that we have to continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. And when you believe that, then you're going to look for any avenue to continue growing the economy. And I really believe that at some point you run out of shit to grow into, right? How much more money can you possibly make on, unless your plan is to get off the planet and start expanding it, which is what Elon Musk talks about. He actually says he wants to go to Mars because he thinks if we don't get off this planet, we're going to go extinct. Why? Because they know they're ruining the fucking planet. Okay.
Right.
That's why. That's why. And,
But let's not fix it. Let's just find somewhere else to go.
I that's why it's hard for me. That's why it's very hard for me to not put on my tinfoil hat and think that these data centers are really about control, or and really, control in the one sense that they can analyze all these surveillance feeds, right? Because it's not just the flock cameras, okay? It's your phone, okay? Our phones are surveillance devices, okay?
Our TV.
And every piece of equipment in our house, you know that they can use your Wi-Fi router to, this is real. You're going to think I'm making this up. This is real, 100% real. But they can use your Wi-Fi router. Okay, my camera keeps tracking. Hold on.
They're fucking with you right now, Pat. They're moving your camera all over the place.
They don't want
it's
you
me.
to speak.
It's me. It's me doing this. They can use your Wi-Fi router to map the inside of your house, and they can actually know, like they could know where I'm sitting right now based off the Wi-Fi signals that bounce around inside the house. They've used this technology to assassinate people, like in like Israel does it in Gaza. I'm sure we've done it in Iran, to know, like, hey, that person is right there in that room. We're going to drop the frickin' bomb right through that window, right? That's the technology that exists. Everything's got Wi-Fi in it. They got fridges with Wi-Fi in it. I mean, it's guys, this is the brave new world shit that we're going into, right? But but not only that though, the data centers and the AI can be very effective at curating an algorithm for people to consume, right? And that's the thing that I think should really be scary, right? And then combine that with the fact that kids can't read as well as they used to,
Or
right?
at all.
Or at all. People can't read. People don't want to read. I mean, I've got a few, like, Brave New World and Fahrenheit 451 back there, and all those, and you read those and you think, oh my God, this is literally exactly where we're going, right?
Exactly.
Jennifer said this is a serious, stupid disease in America right now.
Yeah.
Not even educated people have lost their damn minds. It's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, even I'm so frustrated. You got these, we're in the Iran war. Why? You got a dozen or more soldiers that are dead. Why? We still can't explain that. When are the sane people in the House of Representatives and the Senate going to step up and do something instead of just allowing this to happen? It's driving me crazy. Because am I crazy, Pat? Should we be in Iran right now?
No. It is not accomplishing anything for us. We had a deal that worked. We had a nuclear deal that was working. They weren't making any nukes. We had what we needed. Somebody threw that out. That somebody was Trump, threw it out in 2017, right? We had that deal. And I believe that the point is to be in a forever war. The war is the point, right? Because war is welfare for billionaires. That's what it is. That's what it is, because they are making a ton of money on this war. And in our defense, let's not call it the defense budget. It's the war budget. I do like that they renamed the Department of Defense and the Department of War. I think it's more fitting to call it that. But it's $1 trillion a year. It's just handouts to defense contractors. That's what that is. We don't have any serious threats to our national defense. We got a giant ocean on both sides of us, and we have friends to the north and friends to the south. There are no legitimate threats to our national security. We're spending all this money in order to defend the interests of some of the richest people on the planet. That's what this is all about.
Absolutely. Well, we see all you guys' comments, but we're running a little long, so we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. So
they're lying and laundering money, these billionaire oligarch pigs.
Thank you guys for your comments, by the way. I really appreciate it. If you're watching right now, please hit the like button, share it with your friends and family if you like what we're talking about. And Pat, you were running against Amanda Hollowell in District 1. Let me play this video real quick.
Pat,
Jeez, Amanda, what's up?
Hey, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just relaxing.
Well, you know, there's an election.
When's that?
June 16th.
That's in 12 days.
Yes. Can we get canvassing?
Well, let's go.
The truth is, elections are won when people show up. So we need people to show up to phone bank, to canvass, to postcard write, you know, to actually make sure they're telling their friends, families, and neighbors about this race. The only way we're going to get me in office is if we all show up. So please make sure you do not sit this one out.
Folks, early voting is June 8th through the 12th, and Election Day is June 16th.
So if you have a couple hours, please come volunteer with our campaign.
I love your Captain America at the end.
Thank you.
All right, so Pat, you competed against Amanda Hollowell in the Democratic primary, but you are now supporting her against Jim Kingston. What did you learn about Amanda during the campaign that gives you confidence in her, and what does she still need to do to win voters who did not support her in the primary?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Amanda's been doing this work for a very long time, and I think that that's her biggest strength. Her work with Color of Change and mobilizing voters. She's you know, I don't want to misquote, but I believe mobilized 400,000 voters through some of those campaigns. And she spent time advocating for these policies on Capitol Hill. So actually engaging with legislators and helping to advance policy. So she's already done that work. And I think that when she does make it to Congress, she's going to have much less of a learning curve of actually being able to get to work for the people of the first district. So I think, you know, that made it pretty easy to get behind her and support her after she defeated me in the primary. A lot of work to do to beat Jim Kingston. I mean, a lot of work. And, you know, I know we talked about the fundraising thing earlier on, right? How, you know, that's part of running a campaign. So I know that you know, she's burning down the phone talking to people, actual people, as opposed to a lot of Jim Kingston's money is coming from these big corporations and these very, very wealthy people who can really make donations to the PACs, right? But also engaging with communities. I think that that's, especially in coastal Georgia, very big. You know, getting into the churches, right? And engaging with people where they already meet. Just getting out as much as you can. I think people nowadays are very frustrated with politics. This is why even the insinuation that, you know, not wanting to have a data center would be a political thing is kind of insulting to people. And I think the way to counter that as a politician is to just go meet people and just shake their hand and look them in the eye and let them know that you understand what they're feeling and what they're going through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So, Brandon, you want to catch up and grab some of these chats? Not, well, you can't grab all of them, but grab some of them.
You want me to grab? Oh, man. Oh, okay. Oh, my God. It's Pat, you talk too much. Now I got to scroll. But when Jennifer put the flock is dangerous, they have proof that they already dangerously stalking. I just really went back to that one because I was like, she left and the Ring camera clocked her pregnant, and she came back and it clocked her not pregnant, and then she went to jail.
Crazy.
Stupid cameras.
Well, here's one right here. So they're actually trying to merge our militaries in 2027 with the land that is not real, and then all trillion would go to war. I think this is what she's talking about, where the defense authorization budget, where they're trying to get Israel to be a part of our research and development.
The land that is not real.
Wow.
That's
I mean, I don't think that's a good idea.
No, nobody thinks that's a good idea.
I don't think that's a good idea.
But here's the problem. The Republicans all voted for it.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
It's Pat.
Ridiculous. Okay. Well, speaking of the elections that are coming up, we got the governor's race in Georgia. We have the Senate race in Georgia. And then we also have, obviously, the race you were a part of. All right. So let's play this video from John Ossoff.
If there's one person who committed election fraud in Georgia, it's Donald Trump when he dialed up our state's senior-most election official, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, and tried to bully him in a recorded phone call to, quote, find the exact number of votes Donald Trump needed to win in a state that he had lost. I expect tonight's speech to be equal parts pathetic and dangerous. I think we will hear from the world's most famous sore loser, a primetime presidential sour grapes address, reheating debunked conspiracy theories about an election in which he was soundly defeated. And I think he'll also potentially selectively declassify information or cherry pick various pieces of evidence to lay the groundwork for whatever kind of meddling he wants to attempt this year, or to try to discredit the results when he's dealt a resounding defeat in the midterm elections.
So looking at the Keisha Lance-Bottom running for governor and John Ossoff running for re-election at Senate.
I can't hear you guys.
Uh-oh. Do we lose you? Can you hear me, Brandon? You can't now. Hold on. You can't hear us? I can hear you. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Why don't you kick me out and then I'll jump back in?
He got flocked. That's what happened. Hold up. Where is he at? There we go. Brandon, he got flocked. Did you see that?
He got flocked.
Let's go check out in the chat. So we got Jennifer said, oh, here we go. He's
I can hear Brandon, but I can't hear you, Patrick.
Can you hear me?
Brandon, can you?
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear Patrick.
Okay, all right. Brandon, read the next question.
You want me to you have on? Oh, okay. I was like the one on the screen. No.
I still can't hear him, but I can hear you, Brandon.
Okay, so looking at Keisha Lance Bottoms running for governor and John Ossoff's running for re-election to the Senate, what do Georgia Democrats need to do differently this year? Is it opposing President Trump enough, or do they need a stronger message about affordability, housing, utility bills, and the issues affecting people every day?
I think it's definitely not enough just to oppose Donald Trump, because people are tired of they want a party that's for something and not just against something, right? So I think it's very important. What are we actually for? And I think John Ossoff and Keisha Lance Bottoms at their recent rally in Savannah, I think both did a good job of addressing what it is they want to do. And I think the focus on the affordability, the economic issues is big, but also the corruption, right? The anti-corruption angle, I think, is very important, because a lot of people sense that everything in our country is now for sale, basically, right? And I think that's the biggest thing that we need to combat. So I think John Ossoff does that very well, because his background was as an investigative journalist, and basically looking into these corrupt deals. So I think him doing this now as a senator, I think is just a natural fit for him. So I think they're doing the right things, and I think it really comes down to painting a vision for how we're going to make America work again for working people.
All right, good. Can you hear me now?
I still can't hear you, but
can you hear me, Brandon?
I can hear you.
All right, can the people hear me? All right, Brandon, you get to talk to him.
You're just gonna have to relay whatever he's saying.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm like, sound up in the chat. Sound up in the chat. Maybe no. So would you say that affordability is now a bigger issue than the party politics right now?
Oh, I mean, that's hard to say, because a lot of people are still very tied up in their identity with a party. And I think that's hard to combat. But there are, there's a lot of people, and most people in America don't affiliate with either party, right? Most people view themselves as independents. And so, I think a lot of independents, they have a lot of common sense, right? I mean, there's some common sense things. And this is one of the things I made a centerpiece of my campaign, and I think it resonated very well, is just to get the money out of politics, right? That is one of the only things that we all agree on, Republican, Democrat. Like, you can run that message and everybody says, yep, good idea, right? And I think we really need to focus on, and one of the reasons I really loved focusing on that is there's so many different problems right, that it just kind of feels like it's coming from every angle. You don't even know, like, oh my God, what do I focus on? Like, what's the biggest problem, right? As a politician, I think it's a superpower right now if you can simplify people's lives and say, look, I know there's all these things going on. I think they're all connected to the fact that we've let rich people buy our government. So I think step one is to make it so rich people can't buy our government. And then I bet it'll be a lot easier to fix all these other things. So this is why I think we should just focus on this one thing. We stop letting rich people buy our government, and then we'll go fix all the other shit. Because it'll be a lot easier to fix it, and it's going to be impossible to fix it until we stop letting rich people buy our government. That's got to be step one. And we've got to get Republicans and Democrats, and all of us need to get together and put aside our petty differences and say, we're going to stop letting rich people buy the fucking government. And then once we do that, then we'll hash out all of our other shit. I mean, that's going to be it, or else we're not going to have a republic anymore. And I would say we already don't. We already live in an oligarchy, but I think we have a limited amount of time to where we can take it back from these people in a way that's not violent, okay? Limited. Because what happens when they have all these flock cameras hooked up to the AI and they have the algorithm running and I think we are very close to having a sort of totalitarian state control that is difficult to overcome. I think the window of opportunity is very short.
It's very, 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 very scary out there. Very scary. Okay, Brandon. Let's go to the chat.
Not them talking about Israel.
The conspiracy runs that deep, my friend. They're in here with our little stream.
Stock is solid and holds his truth, and so does Keisha. That's for sure. I know. I do. I vote for who deserves it. And yes, no billionaires. And they shouldn't go to run for office even. They lose all sensibilities when they get kind of money. Yeah.
I think they don't have sensibilities to begin with. Let me ask you guys this. If you hold on, every time I have this hand gesture thing set up that it fucking does that when I
gotta go like that since
I know. If you guys were ever worth, like, let's say $10 million, somebody just handed you $10 million, would you still be working? Or do you think that you would just kind of like, you'd still be working?
Yeah.
Really?
I love selling real estate.
All right. What about you, Patrick? Give me a head nod.
I would. I would.
I'll tell you, I'd still do something, but I wouldn't be working for money. I'll tell you that. I'd be doing whatever was fun, right? But I think it's at a certain point, like, how much is enough for these guys, right? You got $1 billion, that's not enough for you. Like, you're gonna keep, like, I don't know.
I would definitely give if I had that much money, I would definitely put it back into wherever I am.
Yeah.
Like I would build the mini houses for the homeless, or I would invest money into something to make my community better.
The billionaires used to build libraries.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't do that no more. All right, let's grab these chat real quick there, buddy.
Do you want to?
I don't know.
Jennifer.
Okay. It's rough. Okay.
My personal conspiracy theory is the rise of flock and similar surveillance cameras is driving the data center boom.
Yes.
I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. I think that's
so they can clock you and then put you in jail, so then we can pay for you in jail. I don't think it's a coincidence that Georgia is leading the country in both. It's just not.
So, Brandon, ask that last question about, because I know you want to talk about warehouses and stuff, and then we got to roll it up.
The last one. Oh. So what should residents be paying closer attention to right now when it comes to the voting? What's happening?
One thing we haven't talked about too much is the warehouses and the port and all of that, and that's kind of my own personal thing. Is we talk about the warehouses, we talk about all the overdevelopment, all the traffic in Effingham, but nobody seems to connect these things to the reason that these warehouses are being built, and it's because the port of Savannah is growing at an unsustainable rate. If you didn't know, the port of Savannah right now is the third busiest container port in the nation. Currently pushing through 5.7 million 20-foot equivalent units, containers every year. It's more or less doubled in the last 15 years, its throughput, right? And they plan to double it again, more than double it again. This is straight from the Ports Authority. I keep these talking points on me here. So they want 12.5 million containers going through every year by 2035. So that's much more than doubling it in the next 10 years. And how they're going to do that is they're already exploring another dredging of the channel, right? So they just finished. They spent $2 billion dredging the channel. It took them 30 years to do that between like the study and everything else. They want to do that again in like the next 10 years, right? And look how much, like, that's why Tybee is eroding away, right? Is that channel, okay? Is that hard, that deepening, right? They want to raise the Talmadge Bridge. They're going to start doing that like next year, okay? But they're already talking about, perhaps we just need a new bridge. They've thrown around the idea of a tunnel, believe it or not, right? They have a Jasper County terminal coming, right? They're literally going to be building more and more terminals. And you've got to ask yourself, once they double the throughput of the port, where are they going to put all that shit? They're going to need to double the amount of warehouses, okay? And they want to have, by 2050, they want to be pushing through 20 million containers every year. Right now, we're pushing through 5, okay? They want to 4x by 2050. This whole area is going to be nothing but warehouses and fucking interstate highways if they do that. And right now, you already have 15,000 semi-truck trips a day at the port, 15,000. What does that do to our air quality? What does that do to people who live there, right? The traffic, the trains that just park. It's rush hour and they're just parked right over the road so that people can't move, right? How much worse is that going to get? And understand that nobody here has made the decision to do any of that. None of the people here have voted for that. Because I guarantee you, if you put that on the ballot, nobody would vote for it. Nobody would say, you know what? Yeah, I'd like to 4x the port in the next 25 years. I think that's a good idea. I don't think anybody, well, I don't want to say nobody. There are people who are just clueless and think that's a good idea. The vast majority of people will not vote for that. These decisions are being made by the Georgia Ports Authority, by CEDA, right, the Savannah Economic Development Authority. And these economic development authorities, which are not elected, these are not elected boards, and they often have more power than your city councils and your county commissioners. These unelected bodies are making decisions for the rest of us that we all have to live by. And we go and we fight one warehouse as if we're going to win against all that money. Our fight needs to be against CEDA, against the port, and we need to stop the growth. And that's not to say that we need to make the port go away. It just doesn't need to grow. I don't think it needs to grow anymore. I don't think it's going to do anything for anybody who's living here currently to continue to grow that. Because, yeah, it's going to make more jobs, but they're just going to bring in more people to work those jobs. It's not going to help anybody who's already here. It's just
Could you imagine 21
more traffic? I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
You imagine 21 is going to be just a nightmare already. It's already a nightmare. You're talking about 4Xing what we got. Like, that would be just crazy insane. But
take a drive down Jimmy DeLoach. Okay.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
All right.
So there, every in the chat, greed, and more greed.
Yep.
They strip our voters' rights because it's done behind closed doors.
Where am I missing? Where am I there, Brandon? Did I miss it?
No, it's just one more down. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. This one?
All the way at the bottom. Our local government has sold out on us. That's good too.
That one, yeah.
Our local government has sold out on us. Sold us out. And the port was still hiring over 5,000 people. And our port has always been the top 3. We've always been the top 3. That's something that helped our real estate throughout the crash and everything. So we do have a crazy boom. I did hear about the tunnels. That could be coolish, but wasting more.
Bro, no, it's not. If you live in Virginia, the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel sucks. You don't want any part of that. But why don't we get 2 rapid fire there, Brandon?
You want to build a whole new bridge? They just built.
It'd be better than a tunnel. I'm telling you.
Facts. You lose service in a tunnel. Nobody needs that because we need our service.
God
For the
forbid I
flock,
go a second without it.
the flock needs to capture our every move. Okay. All right. So this is my favorite part. Okay. All right, Pat, like the real, not you, Pat, but you, Pat. You know what I mean? So these are about you. This is just fun. I got a lot of ors, so this or that, not hard. But you get 30 seconds, and you only get one-word answers. Are you ready?
All right.
Dum, dum, dum. And the question for $1 million. Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Compromise or conviction?
Conviction.
Prevention or reaction?
Prevention.
Optimist or realist?
Optimist.
Cool. Describe yourself in one word.
That dude. No, that's two. I don't know, dude. I'm just a guy.
A guy. Good answer. Good answer. They're on the board. They're on the board. A guy. Pat. A guy.
I'm literally just a dude.
Describe yourself in one word. A guy.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be defined by anything. I don't want to be.
There we
Don't
go.
be
There
one
we
of
go.
those.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those. Oh my gosh.
All right, Brandon, you're going to have to sign off because he can't hear me.
He still can't hear you?
I still can't hear him. No, I don't know.
What is happening here?
Yeah, I can just hear you, Brandon. So anything that he wants to get through, he's got to put it through you.
Well, Patrick can sign off, right? Patrick, do your closing thing.
Can you thank him for being on and then sign him off, please?
Well, no, I'm not thanking him for saying I'm a guy as his one word. Jesus. No, but really do thank you, Pat. It was fun. You always get the chats going, which is awesome. They love you for some reason. A guy.
I enjoyed it, guys. I enjoy our yeah. You call me anytime. Happy to come on.
You've been wonderful. Thank you. We really appreciate you. And
appreciate you guys.
The happiest things in your endeavors.
Thank you, Pat. Look forward to seeing you again.
See ya.
I did good.
You did a great job. Well, I want to say, hey, thank you guys for coming on and watching. If you're still watching right now, we love you guys, man. I mean, who has the best fans in our area? Us. You know what I'm saying?
Do, baby.
Thank you guys for coming on. Always chatting. Jennifer, love you. Ivy, hello, y'all. Josh, who else? I don't want to.
My mom came on for a minute.
Your mom, my dad, everybody for coming on. We really appreciate it. And don't miss next week where we have Danica Carbaugh, who's from Southern Grace Styles. She's gonna be talking about her business. It's a local spotlight.
That's a sexy name, Danica.
There you go. And then we got Chatham County Board of Commissioners District 6, Aaron Whitley, coming on. So if you're interested in what's going on in District 6 or you just want to chit-chat with us and hang out, please come on back next week. We really appreciate it. Brandon, you got any open houses going on?
Probably on Sunday from 1 to 3.
Well, mine is 1 to 3 too. 125 Town Park Drive in Rankin, Georgia. It's a townhouse. We haven't quite listed it yet, but we're going to be doing an open house this Sunday. So, hey, guys, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll talk to you guys. Brandon, do you have anything else you want to say to the people before we let them go?
I'm going to have an open house on Sunday from 1 to 3 at 120 Dukes Way in Savannah, Georgia.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys once again for coming on. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.